Hey, everybody. Welcome. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Mangomint's Feature Spotlight Series. All right, looks like we've got some people trickling in. Well, welcome. My name is Abby, in case we haven't met before. And yeah, welcome to Mangomint's Feature Spotlight Series. So I'm really excited about today's webinar and the content I'm going to share with you today. Today, we're going to learn all about managing booth renter and hybrid models all under a single Mangomint account. So I'm going to dive into Mangomint today and show you guys how to handle everything. So handling your online booking, setting up multiple merchant accounts or payment accounts. I'm going to show you how to customize your client ownership and permission settings, and even ensure that your booth renters can sell their own products. I'm also at the end going to share some really great booth renter resources later in the webinar that we've developed for you. So let's go ahead and jump into Mangomint, and I'll show you how to set everything up. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my account here. Okay, perfect. There we go. And let me know if anybody can't see that okay. And I think I'll actually also take off my video just so we can make sure that you guys can see everything a little bit better here in the Mangomint account. So let me go ahead and do that. All right. Okay, excellent. And also, while you guys are joining the webinar, feel free to drop in the chat, maybe where you guys are watching from, or if you want to also drop in the chat, information about whether you currently are managing a booth renter setup, or maybe you're using a hybrid setup. Whatever kind of setup you're working with right now, definitely drop that in so we know, what everybody's working with today. So first, I want to briefly talk about what it actually means to be a booth renter or to have a hybrid model, just to make sure that everybody watching is on the same page. So as you know, as you're probably aware, a booth renter, it's simply a service provider who is charged a fee to rent a space within a salon or a spa, something like that. They'll typically pay rent monthly, weekly, etc. And renters are typically renting a booth, a chair, a room, etc. within a space. In today's webinar, you're also going to hear me referring to a hybrid model. And a hybrid model simply refers to a business that has both booth renters along with other types of workers, such as employees, that are paid hourly or commission, etc. And, at Mangomint, we routinely work with all kinds of hybrid models as well. So just in fact, a scenario that I came across recently was that we had a business that has booth renter hairstylists, for example, and they also have commissioned massage providers working with them as well. But today we're really going to focus specifically on how you can use Mangomint's booking software for booth renter and hybrid setups. So let's go ahead and kind of dive into some specifics in terms of the best way to actually set this up within your Mangomint account. So first, I want to talk more about online booking. One of the most important aspects of managing a salon or spa, whether you have booth renters or not, is making sure that it's as easy as possible for clients to book appointments with you. In fact, one of the most common questions that we're asked about the booth renter model is how can we support online booking for booth renters? So the really cool thing about Mangomint is that we make online booking super easy, even if you have one or more booth renters. And we actually make it really easy for clients to book directly with a specific staff member. So you guys can actually set up direct booking links for services, also for service categories and for staff members if you wanted to. But right now, I'm going to show you how to set up direct booking links for different staff members. And so this is really perfect if you have some booth renters at your salon or spa. So right now I'm here in my settings, but I'm actually going to now go to staff members. So let's go ahead and head there. Okay. And then, so we're here in our staff members screen here. So we're working at the Seven Lakes Salon and Spa. And at the Seven Lakes Salon and Spa, this is kind of our, example account here. You can see here that we have a few different staff members listed. So on the left side here, you can see that we have different staff members. We have Harriet, Jennifer, Andre, and Stella Prince. And we can see here, I want to call out Jennifer White because in this example, she is a booth renter. So, at the Seven Lakes Salon salon and spa, this would be an example of a hybrid model salon. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to click on Jennifer, and we're actually going to now go to the details tab here in Mangomint, and I'm going to show you exactly how to grab that online booking direct link. So you can see if we scroll down here in the details, you can see that we do have this section down here that says online booking direct link. And so this is going to be super convenient for Jennifer, who's our booth renter, because Jennifer is going to be able to use this link and share it directly with her clients. Maybe Jennifer actually has her own website, so she can easily go and add this direct booking link right there on the website. If she's sending out her own marketing emails, for example, she can, of course, put the direct booking link in those emails. Maybe she wants to add a call to action button in the emails, put the online booking direct link there. And so it's really easy for her to just grab that link. So this is great because any booth renters that you have, they can easily go in and grab this direct booking link and add it anywhere they need to. And then their clients are going to be able to book directly with them. So I love that. It's super seamless and super easy to set up and to use those direct booking links for any different booth renters that you have at your salon or your spa. So next, I also want to talk about, handling payment. This is so important. So in Mangomint, we make it really easy to set up different payment accounts, or you often hear them called merchant accounts. It's really easy to set those up for booth renters. So, and of course, as you know, it's so critical to find a booking software that can handle your preferred payment setup. So, particularly when it comes to booth renter and hybrid models, the most common preference is going to be that your booth renters, they're going to want an easy way to receive payments directly in their own payment account. And so we make that super easy to do that all under a single Mangomint account. So I'm going to show you right now how that works. So we're now going to leave the staff member settings here, and we're actually going to go check out some different settings. So let's go ahead and click on settings. And then next, we're actually going to go to where it says payment and checkout. Payments and checkout is right here. So we'll just go ahead and click on that. And then here we go. So this has now opened our payment accounts settings right here. And so what we see here is when we go in here, the first thing you're going to see is that we do have this primary account listed here. You're always going to see that first. So the primary payment account that you see here, that's just going to be, the default payment account that is used to accept payments for the business. And most companies that are using a more, the traditional setup, if they don't have booth renters, for example, or they're not a hybrid model, they will typically only need one payment account to process their payments. However, for all of you joining who do work with booth renters at your salon or spa, we make it super easy to create additional payment accounts that can be used to automatically direct payments to the payment account that's owned by the staff member, i.e. the booth renter. And then that's going to be connected to their bank account. So it's really easy and simple to set that up in Mangomint, and I'll just give you kind of a taste of how that will work. So what you would do to actually set that up is we're already here in the settings and the payments and checkout, and then you would just go here where it says payment accounts. So we're already here on that tab, and then from there we can scroll down and you would just select create new payment account. So I'll show you guys how that works right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then it just asked, who is the payment account for? Select the staff members who are going to use the payment account for processing their payments for their services and products. So at this point, all we would do next is just go ahead and choose the staff member. So I'll go ahead and click add staff member. Let's go ahead and I'm going to put Andre on here. Let's say, for example, that Andre is also a new booth renter that's coming into work, at this space. He's going to go ahead and rent a chair, for example. So we're going to set up this payment account for Andre. So then I would just choose the staff member. Once I do that, you would just go ahead and click continue. And then you can enter a payment account. A name for the payment account if you want to. So we will automatically go ahead and just put that staff member name in, but you could kind of call this whatever you want to. You can easily update that. So I can even put Andre Butler. I can put a note here, something like renter. I can put share renter, even if you want to do that, something like that, just to signify that as well. and then I'll just hit create. And then at that point, they can go and continue the setup. I'm in demo mode, so that's what I'm seeing here for this Mangomint Pay setup. But basically what you would do is then at that point, once the admin sets up that payment account for the booth renter, then the booth renter is going to be able to finish signing up for their staff member payment account. So the renter will go in and they're going to quickly add their required information and then submit their application to complete the process. And then if I'm going to go back here to my payment accounts, let me go ahead and click on that again. And so I just want to show you the different payment accounts we have here. You can see, of course, we have the primary one we talked about. You can also see that we do have another payment account already set up for Jennifer White. As I mentioned before, she is another service provider that we have working here who is another booth renter. And so we've actually previously set up her account. Again, this is in demo mode. And then, of course, we can see Andre Butler. We can see that additional payment account that we just set up as well. So this is really nice because we can go and view all of the payment information. So if I wanted to click here on Jennifer White's account, I can go ahead and just click payments and see different payments that have gone through her specific payment account. I can go and click on options. This is really nice because I can go here and then I just select the payment account that I want to see the data for. So if I want to go back and look at the primary one, I'll go ahead and select that and click apply. And now I can see all of the data filtering in for that primary payment account. I can go back here and then I just easily pick Jennifer's out again and I can see that. So that's super easy to see. Something else I want to show you as well is that we make it really easy to actually see what payment account you're using when you book an appointment on the calendar, for example. So let's go ahead and head over to the calendar. And then I'm just going to click on Jennifer White here. We have her schedule set up for today. So I'll just show you what it looks like if we were going to check out one of her clients. So let's go ahead and I have John Garcia here. So let's go ahead and click on that. I'm just going to go ahead and run this through here. So I'm going to confirm it and then go ahead and check in. I'm going to say in service. And then we're going to go ahead and check out now. So let me go ahead and click check out. And then that's a sports massage for $110. So that all looks good. Now I'm going to go to payments. And so this is really nice because we can see here, there's another nice indicator that we can see to know that this is going to Jennifer's separate payment account we set up. So we can see here in the payments right here, we can see, of course, the amount to charge, the payment method. But then if you look down here, there's a nice indicator there that says payment account Jennifer. So we also know that that is going to Jennifer's payment account. So we can go ahead and add the credit card and then we'll just go ahead and charge it. I'm just going to charge that. And then I can easily, if I want to go back and look, I can go to settings again, go to payments and checkout, and then I can go to Jennifer's White account and view the payments as well. So I can just see that payment number 830 that we just made right there and see the amount and everything. And of course, we can also go here to payment account and we'll see that that is for Jennifer White's account, booth renter, as we called it. So this is super easy. And one thing I also really like about this is that, you're not limited based on how many booth renters you're working with, for example. So when you're going to set up your payment accounts, you can set up, as many payment accounts as you need to. If you need to set up 5, maybe you need to set up 10, 15 plus, you can easily set up those different payment accounts, or again, refer to them as merchant accounts. So super easy to handle all of that. And you can do all of this under a single Mangomint account. So it's really going to take the headaches out of, making sure that people are getting paid properly and you're directing the payments properly where they need to go. And then when it actually comes to taking payments, we make that super easy for booth renters as well. So booth renters have a couple of different options. They can either use the business's front desk display, or if they want, they can easily take payments at the go or at their booth. It's super easy to do that with a card reader. So a lot of different options for booth renters and getting paid properly. So I want to kind of switch focus a little bit now, and I want to talk about some other really cool settings that we have that are really great for supporting the booth renter or a hybrid model. And the thing that I want to talk about next is client ownership. So, client ownership, of course, as you probably know who are listening, client ownership is so important, especially when it comes to the unique needs of booth renters. And Mangomint is really cool because we offer client ownership settings, which basically allow booth renters to only have access to their own clients. So, when you have a booth renter style business, it's really common that, the renters you have working there, they're going to have typically maybe their own list of clients that they've been working with, or new clients that they attract and bring in as well. And they don't necessarily want maybe other renters that are there to have access to them. They want to have kind of a division of the client list to keep some of that data private. So there's a lot of different reasons why you might want that, or maybe you're more the owner of the business and you're bringing in different renters, and for various reasons you just want to keep that client data more separate. So it's really easy to set that up in your account. So we're here in our payment accounts, but now I'm going to go back to our settings, and then to access the client ownership, you're just going to click on business setup. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And then we're just going to click on advanced settings right here. And so this brings us to our client ownership settings. So you can see right here, I'm going to scroll down. And so you can see that we have this setting to enable client ownership. And I actually do have that turned on right now, but of course, super easy to turn that off, toggle that on and off as you need to. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on. And you'll notice that when I turn that back on, we have this other setting appear below. So basically what will happen here is that the owner / the admin of the Mangomint account can turn on this setting. It's at full control of the admin, how they want to run this, whoever is the owner of the Mangomint account. And then when this setting is enabled for client ownership, basically how this works is that a staff member can then be assigned as the owner of clients. So of course, as you can imagine, this is going to be a perfect setting to use, especially if your business does have booth renters and you want to keep your client list separate. So I went ahead and I already enabled this setting, but something that I want to call out here, kind of little bit explanation of how this works. So now that we've enabled this setting for client ownership, the staff members will only have access to the clients that they are listed as the owner of. And then basically the system is going to go ahead and hide other staff member clients from them. But a couple important things to point out here, because this setting is not immediately obvious sometimes in terms of how it works. So when you first turn on this setting for client ownership, the system is not going to automatically assign owners to clients, like to all your clients you already have in the system. So for example, I can just show you, I'll click on a couple of Jennifer's clients and we can see, I'm just going to bring up a couple here and I'll show you that they're not immediately assigned to her. So let's look at Michaela, for example. So you can see here, I just brought up the client details for Michaela. And if we scroll down here, you can see that owner is still set to none, for example. And then I can just look at another one. Let's go back to John Garcia here. So John, of course, was working with Jennifer. He had his sports massage. So I'm going to click on John and then go ahead and go to the client details. And so you can see right here that owner is still set to none. So that kind of goes back to what I was just mentioning before, that when you first turn on that setting, the system doesn't automatically assign owners to all of the different clients that you already have available. So you have a couple different options in terms of how to handle this. Once you turn on that setting, the first thing you can do is that the admin can manually assign owners to the clients that are in the system, such as those who are owned by booth renters. So if you wanted to do that, let's say I'm the admin going in here to the account. We have Jennifer, who's a booth renter, and we want to go ahead and set her up as the owner for John Garcia, our client here. It's really easy to do that. So we'll just go click on owner, and then we'll just click on Jennifer White. So we'll go ahead and save that. Save that change. I can go and, choose another couple clients here. I've got Michael Stevenson. So let's just go ahead and open his client details. I will go ahead and go here, click the owner, and then I'll go ahead and click on Jennifer White right there. So super easy to do. You can just go through whichever ones you wanted to. We've got Patrick, we've got Jessica Francis. I'll go ahead and do that for her as well. So I'll just click that. Go here, click on owner, Jennifer White. So super easy to do that. So that's one way to handle that a little bit more manually. So that's one really great way to assign out the different owners of certain clients if you need to do that. But then there's another option as well. And I'll go back to that setting just to show you that again. So let's go back to settings and click on business setup again. And then we'll go back here to advanced settings. So I also want to call out this additional setting here. We have this setting right here that says online booking ownership assignment. And so this one is also really nice. And this kind of takes care of things a little bit more in a bit of an automated way, because as you can see here, this is all for the online booking. So when this setting is enabled, the service provider will be assigned as the owner of the new clients that are coming in through online booking. And it does mention, of course, keep in mind that this ownership assignment will only apply to newly created clients. So I'm going to go ahead and enable this setting as well. And so this kind of ties back to our direct booking links that we were just going over. This is really great because now when your booth renters, they share out those online booking direct links, if they have clients that are using those links to book with them, then this ownership assignment, once you have this online booking ownership assignment enabled, for all those newly created clients, as they come into the Mangomint system and as they're booking online, they'll be automatically assigned to that staff member as the owner. So definitely recommend taking a look at those settings. You could just use client ownership if you wanted to, or if you want, you could have both of these enabled. I really like this online booking ownership assignment as just another way that's a little bit more automated to handle your client ownership and make sure that you keep your client list separate if you want to for your booth renters. So I really love that. So kind of along with the client ownership settings, something else I want to talk about as well is that Mangomint makes it super easy for your booth renters that you may be working with, makes it super easy to sell their own products. So basically how this works, and actually while I'm talking about this, I'm going to go ahead and go back here and we're actually going to click on products. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at how this will work in our account. So we're already here in the product screen. Let's go ahead and I'm going to bring up a product that has our booth renter, Jennifer White, assigned as the owner. So I'll bring that up and show you guys what that looks like. So we have some different products here set up. Of course, you could easily go here to add a new product if you wanted to. But what I'm going to do now is just click on one of the products that we have here. So I'm going to click here on this bright blonde conditioner. So this, whenever I click on that product, that is going to bring up all of the product details right here. So you can see here, we can see all the information about it, you know, the brand name, the category, unit price, all of that. And then if I scroll down a bit further, you guys will notice that we do have this owner field right here. And so you can see it actually says Jennifer White's name here already. If I wanted to go and maybe set up another product that is under Jennifer, I could easily do that. So let's just go to this bright blonde shampoo right here. This one's also owned by Jennifer White. Let's see if we can find one that's not owned by her. Okay, so here is one. This product, when we scroll down, we can see that this one does not have an owner yet. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and click this edit to update the product. And then if we just scroll down, we can go here and we're going to see this settings that says owner staff. And so all we need to do is click where it says owner staff. Right now it is set to none, but if we want to, I'm going to now click on Jennifer, assign this product to her so she becomes the owner of the product. And then I'll go ahead, click on that, and then we'll just save the changes. So now Jennifer is assigned as the owner. We can see that right here. And so now that we've enabled that, this is great because this is going to allow that staff member, Jennifer, to receive the funds whenever this product is sold. So I can even show you guys an example. Let's just create a sale, for example, and I'll do a new checkout. All right. And then I'm just going to add a product here. Okay. Bright blonde conditioner sold. I'll just go ahead and update that. Okay, and then we get, again, that indicator, payment account Jennifer. So that, again, is assigned to Jennifer, our booth renter. I'll go ahead and just pay for that, confirm. And then now, if we wanted to, we could easily go back. Of course, we can see it here. Let me go ahead and charge it. Okay, and so now that is checked out. So the sale is now closed. And then if I go back to settings, and then I'm going to click on payments and checkout. And then if I wanted to go see that in Jennifer White's account, I can go and view the payments right here. And so I can see that. And of course, Jennifer White will be able to log in and see all of her payment account information as well. Her balances, payouts, all of that information will be available to her. Something else to keep in mind too, just on the product or on the topic of products, is that any product commission that you may be paying booth renters, that will need to be paid out to the booth renters separately. So just something to keep in mind there when we're talking about products and product ownership. So kind of switching gears a little bit away from products. And so something that's really nice about Mangomint is that we make it super easy whenever you're using Mangomint for, business owners, whoever is the main admin of the Mangomint account to fully customize staff member permissions. And especially, we make it super easy to fine tune the permissions, especially for any booth renters that you may have, that you maybe have coming into your space, renting a chair, renting a room, whatever it may be. So let's go ahead and take a look at the permissions for our booth renter. So what I'm going to do is now click on settings. And then what I'm going to do is actually go to staff members. So let's go ahead and go back there. And then I'm going to click back on Jennifer and I'm going to open up her permissions. So let me go ahead and do that. So we're here in her settings. I'm just going to click on permissions right here. And then we can kind of go through a couple of these settings. So we actually have kind of some suggested settings that you could use for booth renters. So I could just walk you through a couple of those here. In the calendar, for example, you can enable this toggle to can book and change own appointments, and then can manage waitlist. So we have those ones. I'm going to go to the next one here. For clients, you could, in this case, we have can access clients' contact details enabled. So that means that Jennifer, because we have that client ownership turned on, that means that Jennifer can only see the client's contact details for those clients that she is technically the owner of. But, if you didn't want to give her any access to that, you could easily just disable all of those if you wanted to, for example. And then for sales, if we go to the sales section, you can see that I currently have it set up this way. So can view list of owned sales, can start a checkout and modify sales. And of course, this one's automatically enabled, can view individual sales on the calendar. That one is enabled as well. So they can see basically all the information for all of their own sales, and they can start a checkout if they want to. And then if we go down to messages, these are a couple default settings, or not default settings, but settings that we would recommend if you do have booth renters. So in this example, we do have enabled this toggle to can view individual conversations and can send messages. So basically, they can view the conversations and the message history for clients that are visible to them, but they cannot view all the conversations, for example. So again, just kind of restricting that access a little bit where it makes sense since they are a booth renter. And then reports, a lot of these additional settings we're not enabling for this booth renter. We've just decided, in this example, we don't want to give access to reports. We don't want her to be able to manage product or manage purchase orders. We don't want her to manage gift cards. So we're leaving all those disabled. Packages, and membership, same story here. We have basically all of these disabled. So she's not managing packages. She does not have permissions to manage memberships, things like that. Payroll, all of these, are all set to, these are all disabled. So she does not have access to these. However, when we come down here to the form section, what I've done here is I did enable this toggle for can view individual form submissions. So I think that would be helpful, for a booth renter to be able to view those form submissions, specifically only the ones that are attached to appointments that are actually visible to Jennifer, who is our booth renter. But I did not, I went ahead and left the other permissions disabled for forms. And then for resources, we'd recommend giving them the ability to view the resources on the calendar. And then email marketing settings, I went ahead and left all of those disabled. But then for the user profile settings here for these permissions, I went ahead and enabled all of these ones. So, can change own work schedule, can change own service assignments, and can view own daily and weekly totals. So I think that would be helpful for a booth renter. So again, this is just an example. These are just some suggestions. What we've seen that commonly works for people who are working with booth renters. They often like to use a similar setup in terms of the permissions for that booth renter. And they'll use these ones that you've seen here and kind of have the certain ones disabled that you see and then enable the ones that I showed you. However, again, as the admin of the Mangomint account, it's completely up to you how you want to set that up. So kind of play around with it and fine tune that and, tweak the permissions as you need to see what will work best for you. So that's kind of an overview of how you can set up all these permissions in the Mangomint account. It's super easy for you to update those permissions for your booth renters. So I know we're getting, a little bit towards the end of our webinar here, but I don't want to spend all the time just in the products. I also want to make sure before we close this out that we also talk about some additional resources that we have, for those of you who are joining today who are managing businesses that use a booth renter or some type of hybrid model. So one thing that we do get asked a lot about is booth renter agreements. And as you're joining and listening right now, as you probably know, preparing a booth rental agreement is typically one of the first steps you're going to take in transitioning to a suite rental or a hybrid model. And really excited to share with you guys that we've just launched some really helpful resources for those of you who own and manage salons that include booth renters. So we've actually created 3 different salon booth rental agreements, templates and examples for you that you can use, right away if you want to. For these different templates, we did create booth rental agreements for 3 specific states. So we have rental agreements available for California, Texas, and Florida. However, definitely let us know if you're interested in, other booth renter agreement templates, such as additional examples for other states besides California, Texas, and Florida. So I'll go ahead and I'm actually going to drop the link to those in our chat for you guys, just so we can make sure that everybody has that. Okay, let me go ahead and just add that in there so you guys can see that. And then let me pull that up real quick just so everybody can see that as well. One moment. Okay, perfect. And so as you guys can see, we have the different booth renter agreements right there. I'll just scroll up so you can see that. So this is available on our blog. So I'll just show you that for a moment. So we have that. As you can see here, like I said, we've got California, Texas, and Florida. So definitely go to our blog, check that out. I dropped the link in the chat as well. And we'll make sure when we post this recording on our website that we link this blog there too. But highly recommend that you check that out. And something too, just while we're continuing to talk about that for a moment as well, also want to point out too, just this is something that's always really important to bring up, is that as you guys are joining are probably aware, all the different laws around booth renters really vary quite significantly, I would say, from state to state. So always recommend, be sure to research your local laws around this, and definitely make sure to seek personalized legal counsel, especially if you're just starting out, managing a booth renter model for the first time, starting to work with booth renters and develop agreements with them. Make sure that you work with a lawyer, who's really familiar with the laws in your state to make sure that you're setting it up in a way that works really good for everybody involved. So always like to mention that as well. And also want to point out another really excellent resource that we have. We do have a wonderful learning center on the Mangomint website that has all kinds of really helpful articles. And we do have a new article there. It's called Using Mangomint with a Booth Renter or Hybrid Model. So go ahead and definitely check that out as well. And I can drop that in the chat as well, just to make sure everybody has that available. This is another awesome resource for everybody. And you can go to the Mangomint website and find that as well. Okay, so different questions. I do see a couple of questions that have come in here. And so there's actually a couple similar questions that we have. Let's see. I see there's a question, from Aaron. Can a client who is owned by one stylist still easily book with any stylist? Or will the client need to create a new profile to book with another stylist? I did see a couple of questions about that as well. Somebody's asked a similar question. What if a client, for example, wants to visit a hairstylist for, that's a booth renter, but then maybe they also want to book with a different booth renter, such as a massage therapist or something like that, and they're all at the same location. And then how does that work, especially when you guys are using client ownership? So you can definitely, Mangomint can still accommodate situations like that. When you're using the client ownership, basically what would happen is that the client would be created 2 times in the system under separate client accounts. So, even if a client is owned by a certain stylist, they could still go to another one if they want to. That's totally fine. But by design, the system is going to basically create that client 2 different times in the system. So under totally separate client records. And again, that's all, intentionally done that way, because that way the client can book with both and have their separate owners for whatever services they're, going to for them. But that's really helpful because that way the client data won't be shared across the 2 booth renters. So that's totally possible, but it would just create another client record in the system. So that's a really good question. Another question too that came into me here is that what if clients purchase a gift card? I know we didn't specifically cover gift cards very much, but if a client were to purchase a gift card, and I can just go here, go to settings, you can see where our gift cards live right here. If a client were to go and, maybe they use this gift card link for sharing, they purchased a gift card, all the gift card sales are going to go into the primary payment account for the business, even if the booth renter has their own payment account. So something else to bring up too is that this doesn't just apply to gift cards, but this also applies to packages and memberships. So anytime a gift card or a package or a membership is redeemed, then those would go into the primary payment account that you have set up. If you go back here, we can look at that again. Those would go there. And then any of those that are redeemed would just need to be paid out to the renter separately. So just something to keep in mind whenever you have gift cards or packages and membership sales. All right. So I know we're nearing our time here, and I want to be conscious of everybody's time. But I will go ahead and I think we're going to wrap this up here. I think I've given you guys a really great overview and just showing you how easy it is to manage multiple booth renters, or even support a hybrid setup, whatever you're doing, whatever workflow you have, you can do all of that so easily under one Mangomint account. And I think if you go and set it up, if you're working with booth renters and you use some of these settings to optimize your setup, like I've shown you today, I think it's really going to take a lot of the stress out of managing booth renters, make it more hassle-free, and just make it all so much easier for everybody involved. So much easier for the owner of the business, so much easier for renters that you're working with, and just really work great for everybody. But I know that a lot of this, can get pretty detailed, and there's even so much that we could dive into that we don't even have time for to talk about this. And it can get a little bit more, nuanced. So if you are watching today and you have questions about all of the different ways that Mangomint can support booth renter models and hybrid models, definitely start a chat with our support team. Our team is truly the expert on how to set this up in Mangomint. So if you have more detailed questions, we can definitely help you out and walk you through it one-on-one. And if you're watching today, and if you're not using Mangomint yet, and you're interested in seeing how to use Mangomint with a booth renter model or a hybrid setup, definitely go to the mangomint.com website. You can start a free 30-day trial, and you can also book a personalized demo where we can walk you through everything and really talk about how specifically you can apply this to your specific business. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody, so much for tuning in today. I loved having all of you join. And again, let us know if there's anything we can help with, and excited to see you all again soon. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful day. All right. Bye, everyone.